Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm going to show you the guitars that I actually recorded for this track from Donovan Whitfield, and I'm going to show you the stem mix that I did at the end, and we are going to close this project basically. Later I'll show you all the different stems that I've used for this particular mix and the plugin chain on the master bus to achieve the sound that you've been listening to. So let's dive in and let me show you how it works. For the guitars, we've got this first guitar, which is on the verse. And with it, there's another guitar. And this is simply the same guitar, but in reverse. So we've got the guitar playing the chords, and then there's another track with the same guitar, but played reversed. Then for the pre-chorus, we've got this guitar that I recorded. And let me show you the chain that I've used. Well, I'm not going to show you the chain because unfortunately I'm missing some of the plugins. Like I've said before, this is a problem when you use a subscription model. I do not have this S-Gear guitar plugin anymore. So what you're listening to is the end result, because the way I use it, most of the times, I would say probably 99% of the times when I'm recording with plugins, is that I've got the input in, which is the input on the interface where my guitar is plugged into, going into an auxiliary track that goes for a bus. And then when I'm recording exactly what I'm listening at that point straight into a track. As you can see here, you've got bus 40, bus 40, bus 40, bus 40, all these guitars. It's the bus 40 feeding this track. So this was the actual audio that I recorded. There's some reverb and room here that it's already muted. And the reason why, it's because I do not have these reverbs anymore. So I don't need them as well. It was just to make me feel a bit more comfortable while I was recording the guitars. So then we've got on this chunk of the music, which is the second verse, we've got this guitar. Very simple, you know, there's nothing fancy here. It's just the chords of the song being played on a Telecaster. That's it. Then there's a build up here just to create a bit more tension to make it slightly different. And let me show you how it sounds. The actual sound of the guitar without this chain sounds like this. I've got the Valhalla Space Modulator, which is a free plugin, by the way. I've got this little Primal Tap without any delay, just because it makes everything sound a bit more dirty. I really like the sound of this plugin when you want to make things sound slightly older or lo-fi. Decapitator from Soundchoice as well. As you can see here, we are driving a lot. And then this one from Slate. As you can see, I do not have these two plugins, and there's an EQ, and I'm using the Brit, which is the Neve console, and it sounds like this. And there's only two more guitars at the end of the track. There's a double chorus at the end, and there are two more guitars playing here. Let me show you the first one. and the second one plays this. Kind of a funky vibe, and both sound like this. With the track. These are the guitars. So now let's jump into the stems and I'll show you all the stems and the final mix. So we've got the final mix here and I've got the original track at the top. Let's go back and check how it sounds once again. After all the production. You've got the idea now, you know. So there's a big gap. He actually worked with me because we needed to make it sound like radio ready. There are several tracks here, as you can see. Drums, there are 3 tracks of drums. I just separate the drums between verse, chorus, second verse as well, because I wanted to give slightly different flavors. And I'm doing this because of processing power. As I said before, I'm using an Intel i7 from 2011, so I've got to commit, because otherwise I will not have enough processing power for all the tracks that I'm working with. Then we've got the bass, all the basses in one single track. All of them are stereo, by the way. And then keyboards, 2 tracks of keyboards, the guitars, all of them in one single track, the lead vocal, the chorus lead vocal, and then the backing vocals and some more vocals at the end. And there's like a high lead vocal at the very end of the song. So let me show you what's going on here. Let me open the mixer. For the drums, if we go here to the verse, we've got this. And I've got an EQ. I'm cutting the low end and the high end. The reason why I'm doing this is just because I want to make it a bit more focused on the mid-range, not too much low end, not too much high end. So when it gets to the chorus, it gets really big. So you've got that sensation that it's smaller on the verses in terms of dynamic. And when it gets to the chorus, it just explodes. It gets huge. You've got all the frequencies there. Then there's another plugin, and what are you doing here? Okay, so this is a compressor, just taming a little bit of the transients here on this chunk. But without the plugins, you've got way more low end than you actually need. So it just makes everything smaller with the drums, which fits the song. Then when we get to the chorus, the drums on the chorus sound like this. And let me show what we've got there. Another plugin controlling the high end, just cutting a little bit at, what, 20K, nothing special. Then after that, we've got, once again, the compressor. And this compressor, I choose this compressor a lot because it has that kind of really analog type of sound. When I say analog, it's almost like there's not too much high end there. It's not too aggressive, and it just makes it sound nice. Not doing a lot, but it does change the sound, and we've got a little bit of saturation here, 50% on the plugin. Then there's a clipper, and the clipper is here to control those peaks, because on the master chain I was losing a little bit of headroom because of the drums, so I needed to control a lot of those peaks, and that's how you do it, with a clipper. You cannot hear anything, any difference, but it's controlling the compressor at the end and mainly the limiter. And after that, we've got a Pro Q3, just shaping a little bit. Once again, bottom end and high end, just because I'm taming down the high end here because it was probably a bit too aggressive, but we'll see. Let me play it back. Without. As you can hear, a bit more of bottom end. The high end is a little bit more controlled, not so harsh. I like it this way, it sounds good to me. And we can move to the third stem of the drums, which is verse 2. And let's see what we've got there. Once again, Claro controlling just the bottom end and high end again. Just controlling the frequencies, and same principle as before, same compressor, same settings, doing exactly the same. Taming a little bit of the peaks, and that's it. So there you go for drums. Bass. What's going on the bass? Not a lot, because most of the sound was already shaped. So it's done, it's finished, I'm happy with it, so I can move on from here. This is the pre-chorus. When we get to the chorus, a wobble bass, just controlling the low end. Once again, low cut at what, 30 Hertz, nothing else. Done. If we move to the keys, once again, I'm just controlling the low end, and I've got this compressor, which is going to be, right at this point of the track. These plugs here, I'm trying to control the peaks of these plugs because it was just coming a little bit too much forward, and I'm just holding these plugs in a nice way that it doesn't overpower the voice. We want to have the voice always very clear, and it was just overpowering the voice. Without. With. Let me put the vocals, actually let me open the whole track with it and you'll understand a bit better. Just a little bit further back, away from the vocals, allows the vocals to breathe a little bit better, and it's just almost like connected or more glued to the guitar, if that makes sense. And that's pretty much it for the keyboards. There's a second keyboard, but there's nothing there, and it sounds like this. Modern, I would say, modern. Guitars, let me see what we've got here. Just a plugin. And here what I'm doing with the guitars all the way through, I'm just pushing a little bit of 7.7K in the middle and also on the sides, just to make it pop a little bit more, so we can actually hear the guitar. Let me play it back. Now, if I put it with the whole track,
you're like a flower on a Kilimanjaro. There must be another to rediscover you.
Just helps cutting a little bit more through the mix. Nothing special when we get here towards the end. With all these keyboards and voices and vocals and BVs, backing vocals happening, if you don't have like sometimes just 1.5 dB, it's more than enough to make it cut through the mix, and you'll be able to actually hear a little bit more of the details. Now for the vocals, we've got
I long to see you again.
Let me play it without these plugins on the plugin chain.
See you again. I wish I'd touch your hand.
Now with
I long to see you again. I wish I'd touch your hand with mine. The day you
So here I've got the Studer from Universal Audio. I wanted to make it sound a little bit fuller, warmer, well, whatever. It just saturates in a very nice way. I'm happy with this sound. If I put it
I long
without
to see you again. I wish I'd touch your hand.
it just, to my ears, it just makes it nicer. It just makes it smoother, overall speaking. Sounds good to me. After that, we've got this EQ, and let me show you what this EQ is doing. Let me go here.
You're like a flower on a Kilimanjaro.
As you can see, I'm cutting the low end here at 89 Hertz, and here 1.3 kilohertz. There's a dynamic EQ, because sometimes it just gets a bit too nasally. There's a frequency there that really bothers me. And then this big bump here, which is 6 decibels at 5.8. It's also dynamic EQ, because I want to make it bright, but I don't want to make it harsh. I don't want it to be super bright all the time. So every time he says words with T's and S's and all that kind of stuff, it just tames a lot of those consonances, because there's a lot of energy there, and it can be really harsh. Let me show you with and without this EQ.
You're like a flower on a Kilimanjaro. Is it never to rediscover you? Well, if the
You can hear straight away that kind of nasally frequency there that is really bothering me. It was. And that's the way I've controlled it. Great plugin, by the way. And then another vocal here. This is the chorus lead vocal. And here I've got...
Whenever I see you again.
A de-esser. There's a lot of sibilants there, and I'm just controlling. I'm happy with the sound that I took from the other project, so I basically mixed all the vocals in a different project, and I just bounced all the vocals that I was happy with into this project.
And I won't forget to tell you that I love you.
Cool, and you've got the BVs, backing vocals as well.
Whenever I see you again.
Okay, there's a little bit more happening here. We've got Virtual Tape Machines by Steven Slate. I chose this one, don't remember exactly why, but there's a reason, probably.
Whenever I see you again, I won't forget to tell you that.
Yeah, just taming a little bit those high frequencies, make it a little bit more smoother.
That I love, yeah.
Compressing a little bit with this compressor as well.
Whenever I see you again.
Then de-esser for a change, right? Go figure.
Whenever I see you again, I won't forget to tell you that I love you.
Cool, done. Also, what I'm doing as well, as you can see here on my mixer,
whenever I see you again, I won't forget to.
There's a crush. It's a parallel compression for basically everything. And then I just blend it to taste. It just makes everything sound bigger. This is what we work for. We want things to sound larger than life. So that's why people pay you, because they want this. If they don't know how to do it, they want this, they will pay you to do this. There's a slapback delay as well. I love this delay. Mac DSP, which is a great delay. It was actually for free. You've got to be aware of the freebies that some companies they will give you sometimes. This one came for nothing. It's a wonderful delay. I love it. Then I've got the vocals mainly for the chorus going into this bus, and there's more processing there. And as you can see here,
See you again. I won't forget to tell you that I love you.
using these to make it a little bit warmer, some kind of natural or tape compression, and then a little bit more compression.
Whenever I see you again.
Just controlling, you know, just controlling the vocals, all these vocals, just to make sure everything gets in the right place and doesn't go crazy if there's kind of one of these voices go a little bit too loud. And then from here we're going to this auxiliary, which is, as you can see at the bottom, Vox Total. So all the vocals will go in here and get processed here. We've got a Pro Q3, same concept again. I'm trying to make it brighter, but I'm taming with the dynamic part of the plugin. We've got this compressor from Slate Digital, and I'm using the RC Tube mixing desk for this, or RC Tube channel.
Whenever I see you again, I won't forget to
As you can hear, this compressor it's really taming a bit more all these voices that are just jumping a little bit too much, so everything just gets kind of glued together. I hate that word, but anyway. And then there's a de-esser also to control all the S's above 7K and below 14K. And that's it for the vocals. And so there's a reverb and a slap for these voices. It's a dirty slap, as you can hear. And this is reverb. I'm using this one from UED. I like it. It's a long reverb, as you can tell. It's 3 seconds roughly for what I can see here. And I like the way it sounds. And then I'm just cutting low frequencies and high frequencies. It's the Abbey Road effect, as they say. So let's jump into the master. And here we have tape emulation. And I came across this tape emulation a while ago. And this is one of the plugins that can make or break your mix. Believe me, I think to me it's an unbelievable plugin. I love it. It sounds awesome, but you've got to be very careful with it. It's really easy to overdo it and it will kill your mix, believe me. But let me show you how it sounds without the plugin, and then halfway through I'll engage the plugin so you can have a clear perception of how it sounds and how much it will change your mix. It's great. It just makes everything sound so much better. It's almost like a smiley curve that it has, but the top end sounds really nice, smoother, and the bottom end sounds bigger but not floppy. It just controls everything in such a nice way. I love it. It's great. I've bought this for, I think it was like 50 euros or something like that. It does worth the money, I'm telling you. Then, you know, this is a classic SSL bus compressor. It just brings everything to the front a bit more. It's fantastic. This is another great plugin. This is fantastic. I'm using it almost as a clipper here, as you can see. But it just makes everything sound bigger once again. What can I say? Sonox. They make great plugins, man. Then I've got this multiband compressor, and what I'm doing here is basically controlling the low end of the kick. After that, Claro, really nasty frequency here. I didn't like it. Just once again controlling a little bit of these 12K to minus 2.6 decibels. That, you know, that's probably just my head, but I'll show you before and after. So without the plugin. To my ears, it just makes everything way smoother, and I hate those super bright mixes. I like to tame those high frequencies because otherwise it gets really, really fatiguing to your ears, at least to mine. So we've got another plugin after that, once again controlling the top end, cutting 1 decibel at 8K and cutting almost 1 decibel as well at 12K. Nothing massive, but just controlling once again.
Won't forget to tell you that I love you.
Not a huge difference, but it's big enough for me to have it there, because it does make a difference for me. And finally, just a limiter. I've used this one from Steven Slade. It sounds great. For me, the two limiters that sound really great, it's the one by Sonox and this one by Slate Digital. I really like them. This one is even more versatile than the Sonox one. So I've decided to go with this. The setting is punchy, and I'm just feeding like 7.73 decibels into the limiter, and not using the low punch or detail, just pushing the ceiling to minus 0.3, just that. I'll show you before the limiter. Careful, because it's gonna get lower and then get loud. And as you can see here, it's like it's bringing down what, 1.5 decibels, probably 1.6. Without this plugin, sometimes was going to 2.5, something like that. And the less you've got going into the limiter, the less distortion you'll have from the limiter. So if you can control everything before it hits the limiter, fantastic. You just wanted to make it loud, and that's it. This was it, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything else that you want to watch on this channel. I'm going to share with you a few more videos about production. Anything else that you want to watch here on the channel, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to make it for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.